the manual system, one key problem that the banking system in this country was dealing with is the fact that the incidence of return checks, dishonored check, if you like, or bounce check as it is commonly known, it's reduced to a minimum. In other words, there is no reason why that should be, because with an electronic payment system, that can be done easily.
The automatic clearing house controls all the remittances that are coming from the commercial banks. It processes the remittances and then process the return remittances, do the updates of balances and positions for all the participating banks. Right now we have 13 banks that are participating in the clearing house. It is the nerve center of the entire process, because all checks that are processed, direct credits, all at the end of the day, come to the clearing house, and the clearing house will control and then send back to the respective banks. Then the banks will check the returns and control the returns.
The other important benefits, not only to Central Bank of the Gambia, but the whole economy as a whole, with technology, as you know, once efficiency is achieved, the consumers and the customers of commercial banks, would realize, a faster method of payment, faster and more secured, means of, payment. This, I think, is very important. The banks can manage what we call liquidity in a more efficient manner, in the sense that they don't have to hold a large float, because the system is capable of giving the banks real-time information on liquidity that is available to the banks at the Central Bank of the Gambia, and therefore they can manage their portfolios in a more efficient manner. This is a key advantage to the commercial bank as major participant, and such benefit would be passed on to their customers as well, because the customers too can also manage their float in a more efficient manner compared to the manual system.
The establishment of such a highly sophisticated data processing system requires an equally sophisticated security system that could effectively and efficiently deter as well as respond to the threats, both real and emergent. To this effect, the Central Bank has set up two sites, one based at the Central Bank building and another at an undisclosed location to serve as a backup to ensure the smooth and continuous running of the system 24/7.
Payment system in the Gambia requires high degree of security to be implemented, and this is what the Central Bank has done. Systems have been designed and implemented in a redundant fashion to cater for to cater to resilience, to be available 99.99% of the time, and to make sure that all payment messages are transmitted through very secured channels, VPN channels. And this is the systems that have been implemented also for the commercial banks, so that any payment messages coming from the commercial banks are also encrypted at that level and decrypted at the central bank level. Now, there's something called a closed user group policy that has been established within the banks in the Gambia, meaning that you have to be a member to be able to use the system or to transmit financial messages. Now, these are some of the security features that have been implemented as well using the SWIFT, Society for Worldwide Financial Information Transactions.
Additional steps have also been taken to facilitate the participation of the commercial banks in the event of a temporary failure at their workstations. These and numerous other safeguards attest to the central bank's resolve to ensure the protection and sustenance of this very important project.
Firewalls have been implemented to make sure that they talk to each other between the commercial banks, the central bank, and the commercial bank. These are very secure channels. The system is very robust, is resilient, it's reliable, it's efficient, and we can assure the public, the banking community, that all security measures or standards that need to be followed have been implemented with the One Payment System project in the Gambia.
The Electronic National Switch, GAM switch, is also another important component of the central bank's financial reforms. It is a nationwide switching system which facilitates communication between automated teller machines, ATMs, permitting customers of different banks use ATMs irrespective of their banks. The switch serves as the clearinghouse for electronic payments through debit and credit cards. It is expected to minimize or eliminate the heavy dependence on cash-based transactions.
Another component of the payment system modernization, which involves processing of retail transactions. As we are aware, all the transactions discussed so far are to do with ACPSA, are major transactions. But when you talk of customers going to supermarkets, for instance, or to shops, you effect payment of transaction using a debit card or credit card or other systems similar to what you have in the West, where if you have a card of, say,